David and Jennifer Martinez disappeared on October 15, 2021, during a commercial hot air balloon tour over Napa Valley, California. The couple from Phoenix, Arizona, had booked the balloon ride through Skyline Adventures as part of their 10th wedding anniversary celebration. According to family members, the Martinezes had been planning this trip for over 6 months and had specifically chosen the balloon tour as the highlight of their 3-day vacation in wine country. Jennifer Martinez, 34, and David Martinez, 36, had driven from Phoenix to Napa Valley on October 13, 2021, staying at the Harvest Inn Resort in St. Helena. Hotel records confirmed their check-in at approximately 4:30 p.m. on that Wednesday. The couple had made dinner reservations at 3 different restaurants during their planned stay, according to reservation confirmations found later by investigators. Their itinerary, discovered in their hotel room, showed they had scheduled wine tastings, restaurant visits, and the balloon ride as their primary activities. The balloon tour was booked through Skyline Adventures for the morning of October 15th, with launch time scheduled for 7 a.m. Company records show that Jennifer Martinez had made the reservation online 6 weeks prior to their arrival, selecting the anniversary package, which included champagne service and extended flight time. The booking confirmation email, later provided to authorities by the family, indicated the tour was expected to last approximately 3 hours, including preparation and landing procedures. According to David's brother, Michael Martinez, the couple had been excited about the balloon ride for weeks leading up to their trip. David kept talking about how Jennifer had always wanted to do a hot air balloon ride. He said she had mentioned it several times over the years, and he wanted to make this anniversary special, Michael Martinez stated during interviews with investigators. The brother confirmed that both David and Jennifer had posted about their upcoming trip on social media platforms, sharing photos of their departure from Phoenix and their arrival in Napa Valley. Hotel staff at the Harvest Inn described the couple as friendly and enthusiastic during their stay. Front desk manager Sarah Chen told authorities that the Martinezes had asked for restaurant recommendations and had inquired about local wine tasting opportunities. They seemed very happy and excited about their activities. Mrs. Martinez mentioned several times how much she was looking forward to the balloon ride, Chen stated in her official testimony. The couple's last documented activity before the balloon tour was dinner at Brick's restaurant on October 14th. Restaurant records confirm they had a 7:30 p.m. reservation and that their meal concluded around 9:45 p.m. Server Amanda Rodriguez recalled serving the couple and noted they appeared to be celebrating. They mentioned it was their anniversary trip and that they were doing a balloon ride the next morning. They seemed relaxed and happy, Rodriguez told investigators. On the morning of October 15th, hotel security cameras captured the Martinezes leaving their room at 6:15 a.m., according to footage reviewed by authorities. They were dressed in casual clothing suitable for outdoor activities and carried a small bag containing cameras and personal items. The hotel's valet service confirmed that David Martinez retrieved their rental car, a white Toyota Camry, at 6:25 a.m. for the drive to the Skyline Adventures launch site. The balloon tour company's meeting point was located at a private field approximately 15 minutes from the couple's hotel. Skyline Adventures had been operating balloon tours in Napa Valley since 2008, according to business registration records. The company offered daily flights during suitable weather conditions and maintained Federal Aviation Administration certification for commercial balloon operations. Captain Robert Morrison, the designated pilot for the October 15th flight, had logged over 2,000 hours of balloon piloting experience according to company records. Weather conditions on the morning of October 15th were documented as favorable for balloon operations. The National Weather Service recorded light winds, clear visibility, and temperatures in the mid-50s Fahrenheit at sunrise. These conditions were within normal parameters for safe balloon flights, according to industry standards and FAA guidelines. The weather briefing provided to Captain Morrison showed no adverse conditions expected during the planned flight window. The balloon tour was scheduled to accommodate 6 passengers plus the pilot, according to Skyline Adventures' standard operating procedures. However, on October 15th, only 4 passengers had booked the tour, David and Jennifer Martinez, and another couple, Robert and Susan Chen from San Francisco. Company records indicate this passenger load was typical for midweek flights during October, which is considered peak season for Napa Valley tourism. Pre-flight safety briefings were conducted at the launch site beginning at 6:45 a.m., according to company protocols. All passengers received instruction on basket positioning, landing procedures, and emergency protocols. Jennifer Martinez was documented as asking several questions about flight duration and altitude, according to statements from other passengers. David Martinez appeared confident and took photographs of the balloon preparation process, witnesses reported. The balloon equipment used for the October 15th flight was a standard commercial passenger basket manufactured by Cameron Balloons, with capacity for 7 people including the pilot. The balloon envelope measured 77,000 cubic feet and had been inspected according to FAA maintenance requirements. Company maintenance logs showed the equipment had been serviced 3 days prior to the flight, with no mechanical issues reported. Captain Morrison completed his standard pre-flight inspection checklist at approximately 7:15 a.m. According to company records, the inspection covered balloon envelope condition, basket integrity, fuel supply, radio equipment, and emergency gear. All systems were documented as operational, and Morrison reported no concerns about equipment or weather conditions to his ground crew. The other passengers on the flight, Robert and Susan Chen, later provided detailed statements about the couple's behavior during pre-flight activities. They seemed like any other tourists, excited about the experience. Jennifer was taking photos of everything, and David was asking the pilot questions about how the balloon worked, Robert Chen told investigators. The Chens noted that both Martinezes appeared comfortable with the safety briefing and showed no signs of anxiety about the upcoming flight. Launch preparations were completed by 7:30 a.m., with all passengers loaded into the basket and final safety checks completed. The balloon was inflated using standard procedures, with ground crew managing anchor lines and equipment. Captain Morrison's radio communications with the ground crew, recorded by company equipment, showed normal launch protocol was followed without deviations or reported problems. Family members had expected the couple to return to their hotel by mid-morning and had planned to meet them for lunch at a restaurant in downtown Napa. Jennifer's sister, Lisa Rodriguez, had spoken with Jennifer by phone the evening before the flight. She was so excited about the balloon ride. She said she would call me as soon as they got back to share photos and tell me about the experience, Rodriguez stated during her interview with authorities. The Martinezes had been married for 10 years, having met during college in Arizona. They had no children and maintained close relationships with both families. David's parents, Robert and Maria Martinez, described the couple as adventurous but responsible. They liked to try new things, but they were always careful about safety. David especially was very cautious about activities like this, Maria Martinez told investigators. Jennifer's family provided similar descriptions of the couple's character and relationship. Her mother, Patricia Thompson, stated that Jennifer had always been excited about travel and new experiences. She had been talking about this balloon ride for months. She researched the company online and read reviews to make sure it was safe, Thompson said during her formal interview. The couple's social media activity leading up to the trip showed typical vacation excitement and planning. Posts on Jennifer's Facebook account documented their drive from Phoenix, arrival in Napa Valley, and dinner at local restaurants. Her final post, made at 8:30 p.m. on October 14th, included photos from dinner and text stating, "Tomorrow is the big balloon adventure," with multiple excited emoji symbols. David's Instagram account showed similar content, with photos of vineyard landscapes and the couple at various locations around Napa Valley. His last post, made around the same time as Jennifer's, featured a photo of their hotel room with the caption, "Ready for our balloon ride tomorrow morning. Jennifer can't sleep, she's so excited." The post received multiple comments from friends and family wishing them well. Hotel records indicate the couple had planned to check out on October 16th and drive back to Phoenix that afternoon. They had arranged late checkout with the front desk and had confirmed their return flight to Phoenix for October 17th. Car rental documentation shows they were scheduled to return their vehicle at Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport on October 16th evening. The balloon tour company's standard operating procedures included radio check-ins with ground control at regular intervals during flights. These communications were logged and recorded as part of normal safety protocols. The planned flight path for October 15th covered approximately 20 square miles of Napa Valley, following routes used regularly by the company based on wind patterns and air traffic coordination with local airports. Emergency contact information provided by the Martinezes to both the hotel and balloon company listed David's brother Michael and Jennifer's sister Lisa as primary contacts. Both family members were expecting to hear from the couple by late morning on October 15th, according to their statements to authorities. When no contact was received by early afternoon, family members began attempting to reach the couple by phone. The couple's cell phones, later determined to be unreachable, had shown normal activity through the evening of October 14th. Phone records obtained by investigators showed text messages between the couple and family members discussing the upcoming balloon ride and excitement about the experience. The last outgoing message from Jennifer's phone was sent at 9:55 p.m. on October 14th to her sister, reading, "Going to bed early so we're ready for our big adventure tomorrow." Personal belongings left in the couple's hotel room included luggage, clothing, toiletries, and travel documents. Their passports, wallet, and purse remained in the room safe, according to hotel security. The items suggested the couple had planned to return to the hotel after the balloon tour, as they had taken only cameras and light jackets for the morning activity. The couple's travel insurance documentation, found among their belongings, included coverage for recreational activities including hot air ballooning. This coverage had been specifically verified by Jennifer prior to booking the tour, according to email correspondence found on her laptop computer. The emails showed she had contacted her insurance provider to confirm coverage for balloon rides and had received written confirmation of coverage. Vehicle information obtained by investigators showed the couple's rental car remained parked at the Skyline Adventures launch site throughout October 15th. The white Toyota Camry was located by authorities still parked where David Martinez had left it after arriving for the morning balloon tour. Personal items in the vehicle included maps of Napa Valley, restaurant brochures, and Jennifer's purse containing identification and credit cards. The Skyline Adventures hot air balloon carrying David and Jennifer Martinez, along with passengers Robert and Susan Chen and pilot Captain Robert Morrison, launched at 7:45 a.m. on October 15th, 2021, from the company's designated field in Napa Valley. Ground crew members documented the launch as proceeding normally, with standard safety protocols followed and all equipment functioning properly according to pre-flight checklists. The balloon carried sufficient fuel for a 3-hour flight and emergency equipment required by Federal Aviation Administration regulations. Captain Morrison's first radio communication with ground control occurred at 8 a.m., 15 minutes after launch, reporting altitude of 1,200 feet and southward movement following planned flight path. Ground control operator Jennifer Walsh logged the communication as routine, with Morrison reporting clear weather conditions and normal passenger comfort levels. The pilot indicated he was following the standard southern route over vineyard areas, which was consistent with wind patterns recorded that morning by meteorological stations. The second scheduled radio check occurred at 8:30 a.m., with Morrison reporting altitude of 1,800 feet and continued southward movement. This communication lasted approximately 90 seconds and included confirmation that all passengers were enjoying the flight and taking photographs. Morrison reported no mechanical issues and indicated the balloon was performing normally according to standard operating parameters. Ground control documented wind conditions as light and variable, suitable for continued flight operations. At 9:08 a.m., when the third scheduled radio contact was due, ground control received no response from Captain Morrison, despite multiple attempts to establish communication. Operator Walsh followed company protocol by continuing to attempt contact every 5 minutes for 30 minutes before escalating to emergency procedures. The balloon's last known position was approximately 8 miles south of the launch site, based on Morrison's previous radio reports and ground observations. Ground crew supervisor Mark Davis immediately implemented the company's emergency response protocol at 9:35 a.m., contacting the Federal Aviation Administration and local emergency services. Davis had 20 years of experience with balloon operations and had participated in previous search and rescue situations. He provided authorities with the balloon's last known coordinates, flight path information, and passenger manifest, including emergency contact details for all individuals aboard. The Napa County Sheriff's Office received the initial emergency call at 9:42 a.m., and immediately dispatched patrol units to the balloon's last reported location. Sheriff's deputies began ground searches while emergency services coordinated with California Highway Patrol for aerial search capabilities. The initial response focused on a 5-mile radius around the balloon's last known position, based on standard search protocols for missing aircraft. Skyline Adventures owner Thomas Mitchell arrived at the launch site at 10:15 a.m. after being contacted by his ground crew. Mitchell immediately cooperated with emergency responders, providing detailed flight records, maintenance logs, and all available information about the missing balloon. Company records showed Captain Morrison had been employed for 3 years without any safety incidents or violations of operating procedures. The first aerial search aircraft, a California Highway Patrol helicopter, began operations at 10:45 a.m. Pilot Officer Maria Rodriguez reported clear visibility conditions and systematic coverage of the search area using standard grid patterns. The helicopter crew included experienced search and rescue personnel, equipped with high-powered binoculars and emergency medical equipment in case survivors were located. By 11:30 a.m., the search had expanded to include fixed-wing aircraft from the Civil Air Patrol, volunteers with local aviation experience, and additional ground teams from multiple agencies. Search Coordinator Lieutenant James Parker of the Napa County Sheriff's Office established a command post at the balloon launch site to coordinate all search activities and maintain communication with participating agencies. The first family notifications occurred at approximately noon on October 15th. Sheriff's deputies contacted David Martinez's brother Michael in Phoenix and Jennifer Martinez's sister, Lisa, in Sacramento, informing them of the situation and requesting they travel to Napa Valley. Both family members later stated they were shocked by the news, as they had been expecting to hear about the couple's successful balloon experience. Michael Martinez drove from Phoenix to Napa Valley, arriving at 8:30 p.m. on October 15th. Lisa Rodriguez flew from Sacramento to San Francisco and drove to Napa Valley, arriving at 6:45 p.m. Both family members were briefed by Sheriff's Office personnel and participated in coordination meetings with search teams. They provided additional information about the missing couple's habits, medical conditions, and possible emergency preparations. Search operations continued throughout the afternoon of October 15th, with no physical evidence of the balloon or its occupants discovered. Ground teams covered approximately 40 square miles of terrain, including vineyard areas, wooded sections, and open fields where a balloon might have made an emergency landing. Teams used all-terrain vehicles, horses, and foot patrols to access areas not reachable by standard vehicles. The other family members began arriving in Napa Valley on October 16th. Robert and Susan Chen's adult children drove from Los Angeles, while Captain Morrison's wife, Sarah Morrison, arrived from her home in Santa Rosa. The Morrison family provided authorities with additional information about the pilot's experience level, health status, and standard operating procedures during balloon flights. Federal Aviation Administration investigators arrived on October 16th to begin their formal investigation into the disappearance. Lead investigator Patricia Woods reviewed all available flight records, maintenance documentation, and weather data from the day of the disappearance. The FAA team established protocols for evidence preservation and coordination with local search efforts. Weather analysis conducted by the National Weather Service showed conditions had remained stable throughout the morning of October 15th, with no sudden changes that would have created hazardous flying conditions. Wind patterns were documented as consistent with Morrison's reported flight path, and no atmospheric disturbances were recorded that could have caused navigation difficulties or mechanical problems. Search efforts on October 16th expanded to include specialized equipment and additional personnel. The Coast Guard provided aircraft equipped with thermal imaging capabilities, while local volunteer organizations contributed all-terrain vehicles and experienced search personnel. The expanded search area covered over 100 square miles, including areas significantly beyond the balloon's planned flight path. Media coverage of the disappearance began on October 16th, with local television stations reporting on the missing balloon and requesting public assistance in locating any evidence. News reports included photographs of the missing individuals and descriptions of the balloon equipment. Several witnesses contacted authorities reporting possible sightings, but none were confirmed after investigation. The Civil Air Patrol conducted systematic aerial searches using GPS coordinates and detailed flight patterns designed to ensure complete coverage of the search area. Volunteer pilots logged over 50 hours of flight time during the first 3 days of searching, examining terrain from multiple altitudes and angles. Photography from these flights was analyzed by experts for any signs of the missing balloon or evidence of an emergency landing. On October 17th, search operations included specialized teams with ground-penetrating radar and other detection equipment. These teams focused on areas where a balloon might have crashed and become obscured by vegetation or terrain features. The technology could detect large objects buried under soil or covered by natural materials. Family members organized their own search efforts, coordinating with official operations to avoid duplication of coverage. Volunteers from both Phoenix and Sacramento joined the searches, bringing additional vehicles and personnel. The families established a communications center at a local hotel to coordinate volunteer activities and maintain contact with official search teams. Phone records analysis conducted by authorities showed the last cell phone activity from any of the missing individuals occurred on the evening of October 14th. None of the phones had transmitted signals after approximately 10:30 p.m. that night, which was consistent with the individuals going to sleep before their early morning balloon tour. Emergency services attempted to track the phones using carrier location services, but no signals were detected. Credit card and banking records showed no activity from any of the missing individuals after October 14th. Hotel charges for the Martinez's stay were processed normally, but no new charges appeared on any accounts belonging to the missing passengers or pilot. This lack of financial activity supported the theory that the individuals had not left the area voluntarily. The balloon company's insurance provider dispatched investigators to review all aspects of the operation and the disappearance. Insurance investigator Robert Chang examined maintenance records, pilot qualifications, and company safety procedures. Chang found no evidence of negligence or safety violations that might have contributed to the incident. Search efforts continued for 10 days following the disappearance, with gradual reduction in personnel and resources as areas were systematically cleared. The official search was scaled back on October 25th, though periodic aerial searches continued for several weeks. No physical evidence of the balloon, its equipment, or any of the 5 missing individuals was discovered during the initial search operations. The case was officially classified as a missing persons investigation, rather than a presumed accident due to the complete absence of any physical evidence. This classification allowed for continued investigation and maintained options for various theories about what might have occurred during the flight. Family members established a reward fund, offering $50,000 for information leading to the discovery of the missing individuals or evidence of what happened to them. The reward was announced through media outlets and remained active throughout the subsequent investigation period. The Federal Aviation Administration issued preliminary findings on November 15, 2021, stating that no evidence had been found of mechanical failure, weather-related incidents, or pilot error based on available information. The report noted that the complete absence of wreckage or evidence made definitive conclusions impossible without additional discoveries. All personal belongings of the missing individuals remained in evidence storage, including items from their hotel room, rental car, and personal effects brought to the balloon launch site. These items were cataloged and preserved for potential future analysis if new evidence emerged in the case. The balloon tour company suspended operations voluntarily following the disappearance and underwent comprehensive safety reviews by federal regulators. No violations or safety deficiencies were identified during these reviews, and the company was cleared to resume operations, though owner Thomas Mitchell chose to permanently cease business operations. On March 22, 2024, local farmer William Henderson discovered the remains of a hot air balloon basket while conducting spring field preparations on his 180-acre property in Solano County, approximately 45 miles northeast of the original balloon launch site in Napa Valley. Henderson was operating a deep tillage plow when the equipment struck a solid object buried approximately 3 feet below the surface of a field that had been used for seasonal grain crops. The impact damaged his plow blade and prompted Henderson to investigate what he initially assumed was a large rock or buried farm equipment. Henderson, who had owned and operated the farm for 28 years, told authorities he had never encountered any buried objects in that particular field during previous farming operations. "I've worked this ground for decades and never hit anything like this. The plow just stopped dead, like it hit concrete," Henderson stated during his initial interview with Solano County Sheriff's deputies. After digging around the obstruction with hand tools, Henderson uncovered what appeared to be woven material and metal framework consistent with aircraft construction. Recognizing the potential significance of his discovery, Henderson contacted the Solano County Sheriff's Office at 11:45 a.m. on March 22nd. Deputy Sheriff Maria Santos responded to the scene and confirmed that the buried object appeared to be consistent with aircraft wreckage. Santos immediately secured the area and contacted her supervisor, Sheriff Sergeant Robert Kim, who had experience with aviation incident investigations from his previous assignment with the California Highway Patrol. Sheriff's investigators arrived at the Henderson farm at 2:30 p.m., accompanied by representatives from the Federal Aviation Administration and the National Transportation Safety Board. The multi-agency response was coordinated through protocols established for potential aircraft accident sites. The area was designated as a federal investigation scene, with the farm field treated as a potential crash site requiring specialized recovery procedures. Initial examination of the partially excavated basket revealed significant structural damage consistent with high-impact forces. The woven basket material was severely deteriorated from exposure to soil conditions and seasonal weather cycles, but metal framework components remained largely intact. Serial numbers visible on metal components were photographed and documented for comparison with manufacturing records and aircraft registration databases. The Federal Aviation Administration confirmed on March 23rd that the serial numbers matched those of the balloon basket operated by Skyline Adventures and reported missing with 5 individuals on October 15, 2021. FAA investigator Patricia Woods, who had worked on the original disappearance case, returned to Northern California to oversee the recovery operation and evidence analysis. Excavation work began on March 24th, using archaeological techniques to preserve potential evidence and human remains. The Solano County Coroner's Office provided forensic specialists experienced in outdoor recovery operations, while the FBI contributed specialized equipment for detecting and recovering human remains in soil environments. The excavation site was expanded to cover a 30-foot radius around the basket location. During the first day of systematic excavation, investigators discovered human remains within the basket structure. Dr. Amanda Rodriguez, the Solano County Chief Medical Examiner, confirmed that preliminary examination indicated the presence of multiple individuals, though positive identification would require extensive laboratory analysis. The remains were carefully documented in their original positions before removal for forensic examination. Personal items recovered from within and around the basket included cameras, jewelry, clothing fragments, and identification documents that had survived burial conditions. Among the recovered items were a driver's license belonging to David Martinez and a wedding ring engraved with initials corresponding to Jennifer Martinez. Additional items included a watch, camera equipment, and fragments of clothing consistent with what the missing individuals were reported to be wearing. The location of the basket, approximately 45 miles from the balloon's last known position, raised immediate questions about the flight path and circumstances of the incident. Weather data analysis conducted by NTSB meteorologists showed that wind patterns on October 15, 2021, could not account for such a significant deviation from the planned route under normal flight conditions. Dr. Martinez family members were notified of the discovery on March 25th by sheriff's investigators and FBI victim services personnel. Michael Martinez traveled from Phoenix to California, while Lisa Rodriguez drove from Sacramento to the investigation site. Both family members provided DNA samples for comparison with recovered remains and assisted in identifying personal belongings found at the scene. Forensic anthropologist Dr. Sarah Chen was brought in to lead the human remains analysis. Dr. Chen had extensive experience with outdoor recovery situations and had worked on several high-profile cases involving decomposed remains. Her initial assessment indicated that 5 individuals were represented in the recovered remains, consistent with the number of people known to be aboard the missing balloon. The basket's burial depth and the growth of vegetation above it suggested the crash had occurred during or shortly after the October 2021 timeframe, according to soil analysis conducted by agricultural experts. Root systems from perennial plants had grown through and around the basket structure, indicating it had been in place for multiple growing seasons. Investigation of the surrounding area revealed additional debris scattered over approximately 2 acres of the Henderson farm. Metal fragments, fabric pieces, and equipment components were located using metal detectors and systematic ground searches. The debris pattern suggested a high-energy impact rather than a controlled landing or gradual descent. Balloon envelope material was discovered in scattered fragments throughout the debris field. The fabric showed evidence of rapid deflation and tearing, consistent with structural failure during flight. NTSB investigators collected all balloon material for laboratory analysis to determine if mechanical failure had contributed to the incident. Weather reconstruction for October 15, 2021, was expanded to include upper-level atmospheric conditions that might not have been apparent during the original investigation. Meteorological analysis revealed the presence of wind shear conditions at altitudes above 3,000 feet that could have affected balloon flight characteristics, though such conditions were not uncommon for the region. The Federal Aviation Administration reviewed all maintenance records for the balloon equipment involved in the incident. Documentation showed the balloon had been properly maintained according to manufacturer specifications and regulatory requirements. The last inspection, conducted 3 days before the October 15th flight, had revealed no mechanical deficiencies or safety concerns. Toxicology testing was conducted on recovered human remains to determine if medical emergencies might have contributed to the incident. Dr. Rodriguez coordinated with specialized laboratories capable of analyzing degraded biological samples. Results indicated no evidence of alcohol, drugs, or toxic substances that might have impaired the pilot's capabilities during the flight. The Chen family, passengers aboard the missing balloon, were notified of the discovery and provided similar victim services support. Robert and Susan Chen's adult children traveled from Los Angeles to participate in the investigation and identification process. The Chen family also provided DNA samples and assisted in identifying personal belongings recovered from the crash site. Captain Morrison's widow, Sarah Morrison, was contacted by investigators and provided information about her husband's health status and flying experience leading up to the October 15th flight. Medical records analysis showed Morrison had passed all required physical examinations and had no known health conditions that would have affected his piloting abilities. Soil samples from the crash site were analyzed for chemical contamination that might indicate fuel spillage or other evidence of the balloon's fuel system. Laboratory results showed trace amounts of propane consistent with the balloon's fuel supply, supporting the conclusion that the basket had been buried at this location since the time of the incident. The investigation expanded to include analysis of satellite imagery and aerial photography from October 2021 to determine if the crash site had been visible from aircraft during the original search operations. Image analysis revealed that seasonal crop growth and soil conditions during October would have made the buried basket extremely difficult to detect from aerial observation. Local residents in Solano County were interviewed to determine if anyone had witnessed unusual aircraft activity on October 15, 2021. Several individuals reported seeing hot air balloons in the area that morning, but none recalled observing any aircraft in distress or making emergency landings. The rural location of the crash site limited the number of potential witnesses. Cell phone data analysis was expanded to include tower records from Solano County locations that might have detected signals from the missing individuals' phones during the October 15th timeframe. Technical analysis revealed brief signal contacts consistent with the phones being present in the crash area, though the signals were too weak and brief to have triggered emergency location services. The National Transportation Safety Board issued a preliminary report on April 15, 2024, classifying the incident as an aircraft accident under investigation. The report noted that while human remains and aircraft wreckage had been recovered, the cause of the accident remained under investigation, pending completion of technical analysis and witness interviews. Family members of all missing individuals requested independent review of the investigation findings by qualified aviation safety experts. The families retained attorney Patricia Williams, who specialized in aviation accident litigation, to monitor the investigation and ensure thorough analysis of all available evidence. Recovery operations at the Henderson farm concluded on April 2, 2024, after systematic excavation of the entire debris field. All recovered materials were transported to NTSB facilities for detailed analysis. The farm field was restored to its original condition, with Henderson receiving compensation for crop damage and operational disruption caused by the investigation. DNA analysis confirmed the identities of all 5 individuals aboard the balloon: David Martinez, Jennifer Martinez, Robert Chen, Susan Chen, and Captain Robert Morrison. The confirmations were based on comparison with reference samples provided by family members and dental records where available. Funeral arrangements for the Martinez couple were coordinated through their families in Phoenix and Sacramento. The Chen family arranged services in San Francisco, while Captain Morrison's service was held in Santa Rosa. All services were attended by investigators and officials who had worked on the case. The balloon company's insurance providers completed their investigation and began processing claims related to the incident. Legal proceedings were initiated by family members seeking compensation for the loss of their relatives and answers about factors that contributed to the accident. Henderson continued farming operations on his property, but noted that the discovery had affected his perspective on the land. "You never know what's beneath the surface until you dig deep enough. Makes you think about all the stories that might be buried out there," Henderson commented to local media. The crash site location raised questions about emergency locator beacon technology and requirements for recreational aircraft. Aviation safety advocates used the case to promote enhanced tracking systems for all commercial balloon operations to prevent similar situations where aircraft disappear without trace. Investigation findings were compiled into a comprehensive report, addressing the technical aspects of the balloon operation, weather conditions, human factors, and regulatory oversight. The final determination of probable cause remained pending completion of all laboratory analysis and expert review of recovered evidence. The National Transportation Safety Board released its final investigation report on September 15, 2024. Concluding that the hot air balloon accident was caused by an encounter with severe wind shear at approximately 2,800 feet altitude, which resulted in rapid balloon deflation and uncontrolled descent. Lead investigator Patricia Wood stated that analysis of recovered balloon envelope material showed evidence of catastrophic structural failure consistent with sudden exposure to extreme wind forces that exceeded the balloon's design limitations. Meteorological analysis conducted by the National Weather Service revealed that a previously undetected low-level wind shear phenomenon had developed over Solano County during the morning of October 15, 2021. DERSA. Michael Thompson, senior meteorologist assigned to the investigation, explained that satellite data analysis showed wind speed differentials of over 40 miles per hour between different altitude layers, creating conditions that could cause rapid balloon deflation and loss of control. The reconstructed flight path, based on recovered GPS data from Captain Morrison's personal navigation device found in the wreckage, showed the balloon had been carried eastward by upper-level winds significantly stronger than surface conditions indicated. The balloon reached a maximum altitude of 3,200 feet, approximately 1,000 feet higher than the planned flight profile, before encountering the wind shear conditions that initiated the accident sequence. Forensic analysis of the balloon's control systems revealed that Captain Morrison had attempted emergency procedures to manage the balloon's descent, according to evidence found in the basket's propane fuel system. Burn patterns on recovered equipment indicated the pilot had operated the burner system at maximum output in an attempt to maintain altitude and control, consistent with standard emergency procedures for wind shear encounters. Medical examination results released by the Solano County Coroner's Office confirmed that all 5 individuals sustained injuries consistent with high-impact forces during the balloon's contact with the ground. Dr. Amanda Rodriguez stated that the evidence indicated the occupants had remained conscious during the descent and had assumed crash positions. suggesting they were aware of the emergency situation and had time to prepare for impact. The balloon's impact with the ground occurred at an estimated speed of 60 miles per hour, according to analysis of the debris pattern and structural damage to the basket. Engineering analysis conducted by balloon manufacturer representatives confirmed that no commercial passenger balloon was designed to protect occupants during impacts at such velocities, explaining the fatal outcome despite the balloon's safety equipment and design features. Family members of the victims expressed mixed reactions to the investigation's conclusions. Michael Martinez stated that, while the findings provided answers about what happened to his brother and sister-in-law, questions remained about whether the weather conditions could have been predicted or detected earlier. "We understand it was an accident, but it's difficult to accept that something so sudden and unpredictable could take 5 lives," Martinez said during a press conference following the report's release. The Federal Aviation Administration announced new safety requirements for commercial balloon operations based on lessons learned from the accident investigation. The new regulations mandate enhanced weather monitoring equipment and require balloon operators to receive updated meteorological briefings every 30 minutes during flight operations. Additional requirements include installation of emergency locator transmitters on all commercial balloon baskets. Balloon industry representatives acknowledge the need for improved safety measures, while noting that wind shear encounters remain one of the most challenging weather phenomena for aircraft operations. Thomas Mitchell, former owner of Skyline Adventures, supported the new safety requirements despite having closed his business following the accident. "If these changes prevent another family from going through this tragedy, then something positive will come from this loss," Mitchell stated. The accident investigation revealed significant limitations in weather detection capabilities for low-level wind shear phenomena in mountainous regions. The National Weather Service announced plans to enhance its monitoring network with additional detection equipment specifically designed to identify dangerous wind conditions in areas popular for recreational aviation activities. Legal proceedings initiated by the victims' families resulted in settlements with multiple parties, including the balloon manufacturer, weather service providers, and aviation regulatory agencies. Attorney Patricia Williams, representing the families, stated that the settlements would fund scholarships for aviation safety research and support enhanced weather monitoring programs in recreational flying areas. The Henderson Farm, where the balloon wreckage was discovered, became the site of a memorial garden established by the victims' families. William Henderson donated a portion of his property for the memorial, which includes plaques honoring the 5 individuals who lost their lives in the accident. The memorial was dedicated on October 15, 2024, exactly 3 years after the accident occurred. Safety improvements implemented following the accident investigation extended beyond balloon operations to other forms of recreational aviation. The Aircraft Owners and Pilots Association incorporated lessons from the wind shear encounter into safety training programs, while flight schools began teaching enhanced weather recognition techniques to student pilots. The accident's impact on Napa Valley tourism was addressed through enhanced safety protocols at all recreational aviation operators in the region. The Napa Valley Visitors Bureau worked with balloon companies to implement new safety standards and public education programs about weather-related risks in balloon operations. Investigation findings were shared with international aviation safety organizations to improve balloon safety standards worldwide. The International Balloon Association adopted several recommendations from the NTSB report, including enhanced pilot training requirements for wind shear recognition and improved emergency procedures for passenger safety during weather encounters. Advanced weather prediction technology developed partially in response to the accident became available to commercial balloon operators throughout California. The new system provides real-time wind shear detection capabilities and automated alerts when dangerous conditions develop in popular flying areas. The accident prompted legislation in California requiring enhanced insurance coverage for commercial balloon operations and establishing victim compensation funds for aviation accidents involving recreational aircraft. The legislation was signed into law on the 3rd anniversary of the accident, with family members of the victims present at the signing ceremony. Educational programs developed by aviation safety organizations use the accident case study to train pilots about the dangers of wind shear and the importance of conservative decision-making in weather-related situations. The programs emphasize that even experienced pilots can encounter conditions beyond their control or their aircraft's capabilities. Research conducted by meteorological institutions following the accident led to improved understanding of wind shear development in complex terrain. The research findings contributed to enhanced weather forecasting capabilities and better prediction of dangerous flying conditions in mountainous recreational aviation areas. The 5 victims of the balloon accident were honored through various memorial initiatives, including aviation safety scholarships, weather research funding, and recreational aviation safety programs. Their families established foundations focused on preventing similar accidents through improved technology, training, and weather awareness. The final accident report noted that while the specific weather conditions encountered by the balloon were rare and difficult to predict, the accident was preventable with enhanced weather monitoring technology and more conservative flight operations during periods of atmospheric instability. The report's recommendations led to industry-wide changes in commercial balloon operations throughout the United States. The investigation's conclusion provided closure for families, while highlighting the ongoing challenges of ensuring safety in recreational aviation activities. The accident remains a case study in aviation safety programs and continues to influence policy decisions regarding weather-related flight operations in complex terrain environments. The legacy of the October 15, 2021, balloon accident extends beyond the immediate tragedy to encompass significant improvements in aviation safety, weather prediction, and emergency response capabilities that continue to protect future participants in recreational flying activities throughout the United States and internationally.